Nama Nama Nama. But Krishna and his names are the same. Hare Krishna. Krishna and his names are the same. That means if you chant in the proper way, you and Krishna will be together. Now consider that. Now we'll chant for another few minutes and see if you can chant in a way that attracts Krishna to descend in the form of his holy names. See if you can chant in such a way that it attracts Krishna to fully give his potencies while you're chanting. Please chant. There's so many things going around. We've all come from we've had a long day. This is the end of a long day. We've done so many things. So many things made us happy. Maybe so many things didn't make us happy. But now, let's just try to be here with Krishna and his holy names. Please begin.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
When we make a conscious intent to chant, it's still not easy to focus. But if we don't consciously try, I would say it's impossible. And somehow or another, if we try, even if we're not so successful, if we try to be there with Krishna in the form of our consciousness, trying to hear and place our consciousness on Krishna, then we pray that Krishna, if he so desires, will bless us and help us. So in the chanting, there's a calling to Krishna for Krishna's mercy. Where is my friend? Will my friend come tonight?
Yeah, you should.
He should. Okay. But he should come late. Now today we're going to speak about, where's that bag? If you could, there's a little timer in there. If you could give me that timer. Because there's quite a long class, but it'll be a different kind of class. I'm not just going to speak and speak and speak. Be a different kind of a class. But in the beginning, I would like to speak about this first verse. Can you see that verse? Can you read it? No. Only if it was in Kannada, you could read it. No. In English? Okay. Well, this is the first verse of Mahaprabhu's Shikshastakam. Chaito Darpanam Arjanam. We'll see it in an English form in a moment. But what do you notice about the verse, Chaito Darpanam Arjanam, as it's written? You won't notice it if it's in English, so I wanted to show it to you first in Devanagari. What do you notice? Raise your hand. Wait, no, you didn't raise your hand. And actually wait till I call on you also. There's two parts. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
From the script, I thought it looks like Bengali script.
Yes, it looks like, it is Bengali, in fact. But you know, no wonder no one can read it. Bangla Bhujan. Bhujina. Okay, yes, it's Bengali script. But what do you notice aside from that? Even if you can't read it, what do you notice? I guess no one notices.
2 lines.
Excuse me?
4 lines.
4 lines, yes, very good. And see how long the words are. And Sanskrit is like that. The words are very long. So how many words are there? There's 1. Okay. And this verse describes, Mahaprabhu wants us to tell us something. And it's not going to be philosophical. Let's go down to can I do it? Let's see. No. How do I get it to work?
This down.
But it doesn't. Okay, is it up there? Okay. Yes. So here's the verse in English. Alad, you can read it now? Okay. Read the first line. So now how many lines are there in the English? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Someone got 9. That's very good. So each of these, the hyphen between the words represents one word, practically speaking. Chaito Darpanam Arjanam. Okay, you read the first one, the first line, which is... Okay, read the second. Third. Fourth. Okay, and then finally, the 8th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 qualities of the holy names, 7 perfections of the holy names that Mahaprabhu has written here. Now, Mahaprabhu, as we know, was a great, great scholar, incredibly great scholar. Of course, he's the Supreme Lord, but he demonstrated that he was the greatest scholar And although he was such a great scholar, he only wrote these 8 verses, Shikshastakam. And this first verse, it's so interesting because there's no philosophy in it. It's poetry. It's simply poetry. Poetry presents images, pictures. So in the first 7 verses, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to present images, pictures that help us understand Krishna's holy names and its effects. We chant and we chant and we chant every day. And here Mahaprabhu was going to describe the effects that is possible by presenting in this first verse 7 pictures of the potency of the holy name. And what I would like to do today, at least in part of the class, is go over these 7 pictures. And I want you to see them, pictures of them. I found this very interesting because when I was trying to put this class together many, many months ago, I used, well, what would everyone use? Say it. No, this is, yes. I immediately thought, I'm going to make these pictures through artificial intelligence. You're saying Haribol, but you will lose in the end. So I made this, the first one is Chaito Darpana Marjanam. What does that mean? Do you know? Anyway, we'll go over it in a moment. And I made a picture, and I thought it was pretty good. And then I asked one of the devotees, I experimented on one of the devotees, and I said, I described this verse, this part, and I said, what picture comes to your mind? And I found that his real intelligence, was better than the artificial intelligence. And not only that, there were 3 devotees I asked, and each of them had different pictures. So I decided not to present my picture, which again, I thought it was pretty good, but let the devotees come up with their own pictures. And that's what we're going to do. Because this is what Mahaprabhu is presenting. Please, if you could turn off your mobile phone. And we always give the devotees the opportunity, if you don't want to turn it off, don't put it on flight mode, but you can put it on cow ringtone. And then we'll just say, "Mwah, mwah, mwah," no problem. Or peacocks. Something interesting. So let us look at the first verse. And then, because this is a relatively long class, an hour and a half, and usually I can talk for an hour and a half, but this is so much more fun. We're going to do something else. Okay, next slide. Do I do it again?
Yes.
Let's see if, yes. This is Chaito Darpana Marjanam. This is the picture that Mahaprabhu is presenting. Whoops. Sunyavadi. What did we do wrong? Okay, let's, one more. Okay, see, I was just testing you to see if any of you, nothing. How boring. Chaito Darpana Marjanam. Chaito means, Chaitana means consciousness. And Darpana means mirror. And this is the effect of the holy names. The first effect, that it cleanses, Marjanam, cleanses the heart, the Chaitana, the consciousness. I'm afraid to speak now. Is it okay? Safe? Chaito Darpana Marjanam, that the consciousness, the mirror of the consciousness is cleansed. Now, what does this mean? Why is the consciousness compared to a mirror? Because if we reflect back into if everyone close your eyes, and reflect back in your mind, introspect back into who you actually are. Who is the person who is me? You didn't close your eyes. Can you do it? No. Is what I'm saying clear? Yeah. We can't see ourselves, the person who is us. Okay, you can open your eyes because everyone will just fall asleep after a long day. We can't see ourselves, who we actually are. I noticed this recently. I was looking at some psychology and some astrology, and I saw that there's something called a complex, which means that in the consciousness, it's like a virus in a program, that if something triggers the virus, then it takes over your computer. And it does what it wants to do instead of what you want to do. So we have so many, in psychology, so many complexes, which means someone does something and we react in a particular way, not exactly in our control. Someone says something, someone does something that reminds us of something else, and it affects us very much. And then another thing I noticed, there were certain parts of my astrological chart that I saw. I was listening to someone just on YouTube, just describing what it means to have this particular configuration. And it was the qualities that I had so much defined me. And then I understood that there's so many things that I was proud of. I'm better than others at this, and I'm better than others at that, and others are better than me at this. But so many of the things that I think are me are just my karma. And it's just some configuration of planets. And therefore, it doesn't actually have anything to do with me. It has to do with the coverings over my consciousness. It's just karma. So between the complexes and the karma, I was thinking, I really have no idea who I am. And of course, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami talks about, he defines pure devotional service as sarva upadi vinir muktam, the removal of all the coverings, overlays over the soul. So we have so many overlays on our concept of who we are. That doesn't sound like a cowering tone to me. There's so many overlays that we identify with, where male, female, from this part of India, that part of India, this part of the world, I'm this age, I'm in this grade, I have this degree, I have this family, I have these kind of parents, I have this, that, I have so much of this and so much of that. But these are all upadis, overlays on who we are. But yet, I am someone that's clear. I'm not nothing, because nothing couldn't be talking to you, obviously. Although some people talk nothing. That makes sense. But who am I? This, of course, many philosophers have said, when we ask this question, who am I? Actually, I've taken my birth in a particular family, but who am I? I'm born in a particular country. I grow into a particular person, but who am I? We can't see that by just self-examining ourselves, introspection, but by chanting Krishna's names. Mahaprabhu was looking at our own consciousness as looking at a mirror. And instead of looking at the mirror and seeing me, the person who's looking back at me, there's so much dust over that mirror. Like you're looking at a mirror and there's this much dust. And you only see dust. You don't see the person yourself. But gradually, by chanting Krishna's names, Mahaprabhu will say, this is the effect of chanting Krishna's names. One can look in the mirror of one's consciousness and one can see who one actually is. Not temporarily, but who one actually is. Now, what are the coverings over our consciousness, over the person who is us, when we try to see who we actually are? What are those coverings? There's material desires, I want this, I want that. There's ahankara, which means a spirit, a mood, that I am central. This is the effect, actually, of turning one's back. Krishna Bhule se jeevan adya bahimo. This is the effect. Excuse me, this might take a moment. Yeah, I think there's no other way. This is the effect of chanting, that gradually the dust covering one's consciousness is removed. And gradually one can see, in other words, the material desires that cover our consciousness removed. That spirit, that ahankara, in the mind, everyone is thinking themselves as the central person. This is the curse of having a material mind. The curse of having turned our back on Krishna, who is the central person. He is the central person. But the curse is you get a mind in which you imagine yourself the central person in existence, as if everything's supposed to be revolve around me. This is what every single person who has a material mind is thinking. This is ahankara. And I am meant to enjoy life. And everyone should cooperate with me. And to prove that this is an illusion, this feeling oneself central, all you have to do is drive in Bangalore. And you will understand that you're insignificant and nothing you think or want can happen, practically speaking. Let all the cars except mine disappear, at least for 2 hours, so I can go, or 15 minutes. So this is ahankara, vimudama, bewildered. Everyone is bewildered, covered by this. And then, so there's material desires, and then there's ungodly, improper activities that, based on an enjoying spirit, lower modes of material nature that put more and more coverings. And by chanting Krishna's names, these coverings are removed gradually. And one understands that I have nothing to do. I have nothing to do with all these upadis, the coverings over me. And I am eternal. And not only am I eternal, but I'm eternally Krishna's servant. And not only am I eternally Krishna's servant, I actually have an eternal relationship with him. I am an individual, a person that's like no other person. And I have a personal form in relationship with Krishna. And that is me. And that is my real life of service, loving service, devotional service. So that ultimately is the result of chanting Krishna's holy names. But step by step, and by chanting, the mirror of one's consciousness is cleansed. So some of the comments that I'm going to be making, or most of them, practically speaking, come from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's my friend. their commentary on Shikshastakam. So this is by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, I believe. He says that this verse, this first verse, beginning Cheto Darpana Marjanam, describes the original transcendental nature of the jiva. The soul is covered by material desires, an enjoying spirit, ahankara, and ungodly activities. This is the subtle body. And to remove these coverings, he says, one should constantly chant Krishna's holy names. This ignorance, these coverings, are eradicated, removed by devotional service, particularly, specifically, by hearing and chanting the sacred names and pastimes of the Supreme Lord Krishna. And then in the final part that I'm quoting here, or the final part of this paragraph, he says, one should take full shelter of the holy names. And that is the way that if we chant, the result comes very quickly. Taking full shelter of Krishna's holy names. What does that mean to you, to take full shelter of Krishna's holy names? Don't call out them. Yes, Prabhu.
He'll be able to take care of all the problems which I will otherwise think about.
He will take away my problems that I think about. Yes, thank you.
Would be the 6 aspects of Sharanagati?
Giving oneself fully to Krishna. There are 6 aspects in there. Yes. Yes.
Having full conviction that Krishna and Krishna's holy name both are same.
That's the state of bhava, actually. Yes. Yes.
Avashya Rakshibe Krishna.
Going to Krishna for protection and maintenance there. We're in the Gotipte Varanam Data. That Krishna, I'm yours. You are everything to me. Hare Krishna. To chant him that way, I have no hope other than you. If you're not merciful to me, what do I have? You are my hope, my life, my love. You are everything. Abhinatvam namano, you are Krishna. Chanting like that, and then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, one should chant constantly, continuously. If one could do that, you'd be touching the spiritual energy. Right now, our consciousness, infected by the enjoying spirit, is in touch constantly in the shelter of the material energy. Because we are tiny, we need shelter. And our choice is basically the material energy or the spiritual energy. But how many times have I said, from now on, I'm going to chant constantly, I'm only going to take shelter of the spiritual energy. But gradually. So the first image that Mahaprabhu has placed in this verse, it's an image. Close your eyes. And think of what this Cheto Darpanam Arjanam, consciousness, Cheto Darpanam, Darpana, mirror, and cleansing. Think of what image comes to your mind. Close your eyes and think of a picture of what this comes to. And then offer a very simple prayer to the holy names, to Krishna, to your Guru Maharaj, to the Vaishnavas, to Prabhupada, to Mahaprabhu. Think of the picture, though. Okay, now let's go on to the second verse, second part. Let's see if... One more. Bhava Mahadavagni Navapanam. Bhava means worldly existence. Mahadavagni, it is compared to a great forest fire. Mahaprabhu is comparing it to a great forest fire. Nivapana means it's extinguished. The forest fire of material existence, worldly existence, is extinguished. Now, this seems like a very negative look at the material world, but I don't want to talk about how bad the material world is. Just in one sentence, that in 100 years from now, so how many people are in the world right now, approximately? What's the human population, approximately? 8 million. Now, out of that 8 million, in 100 years from now, how many do you think will still be alive? Well, maybe 20, maybe 30, maybe 100. 8 million, or maybe 200. That is a forest fire that destroys. But sometimes we in our classes, we talk so much about the dukhalayam, shashvatam, nityam, sukham loka, but I don't want to do that, especially because there are so many young people present, and they have to have a different mood when dealing with the material world. They should go out and do something wonderful for Krishna. But ultimately, the material world is like a forest fire, and it burns. Right now, we live relatively comfortably, but it's not like that in every part of the world. How many of you have elderly parents? Yeah. How old are your parents?
75.
Because right now I'm almost 79. So I'm older than people's parents. I never thought that would happen. Older than people's grandparents. How old are your grandparents?
80-something.
How often do you see them?
One time a year.
One time in 2 months? So twice a year or something like that. And how old are you? 12. Do you know that I was once 12? And I used to have hair. Hard to believe, isn't it? Bhava Mahadavagni Navapanam. It extinguishes the great forest fire of worldly existence. The second image. Close your eyes and think of this image. What does this mean to you? If you were caught in the forest fire of material, have any of you ever been near a forest fire? In Australia, they happen all the time. It's terrifying. Completely out of control. Deadly. Everything is destroyed. I'm afraid to now say, think about Mahadavagni. But material existence, Mahaprabhu is comparing it to that. And the holy names can extinguish it completely. Think about that. Close your eyes. What picture comes to your mind? Okay, I just would like to. There's something I don't remember the exact wording, but something that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said. He said that that when one gives up the idea that some situation in the material world can bring him full happiness, if one gives up that idea that some situation in the material world can bring the happiness that everyone yearns for, longs for, he has made the greatest step forward in spiritual life. But again, I think as we get older, we become more trusting of this point. When we're young, we have our dreams. If I have this, and if I get one of those, or two of these, or have this and that, we dream it's going to bring the satisfaction that we long for. But when we get older, or if we've been through this in previous lives, then we understand that there's nothing that can satisfy me because I'm a soul, I'm eternal. And all these coverings cannot satisfy, if I clean the coverings, it cannot actually satisfy me. So we know the philosophy, we all know the philosophy. But to actually, in the core of our heart, accept this is not so easy. To know what the right answers are is one thing, but to actually live on that level is something completely different. So the cleansing of the consciousness, and then the extinguishing of the forest fire of material existence. There's much one can say about all these things, but we have to move on. The third image. Just again, notice I'm speaking philosophy, but Mahaprabhu is not talking philosophy. He's presenting poetry, images. The third one. Can you please? Oh, you can read it. Okay, well, yeah. Shreya Karaiva Vitaranam Chandrika Vitaranam. What a beautiful image. The second one was a forest fire. The third one is a blossoming lotus. Chandrika means moonbeam. There's certain lotuses that blossom in the sun, and others blossom in the moonlight, the moonbeams, the Chandrika. So Shreya means it means well-being. Ultimately, Shreya means the auspicious. Karaiva means the lotus of the auspiciousness of our life. It opens up. The lotus opens up of our auspiciousness, opens up by the moonbeams which distribute the Lord's holy name. It's a beautiful image, a lotus opening up with the moon of the holy names. This is what we're longing for. On one side, Mahadavagni Navapanam, extinguishing the difficulties, the forest fire of material. On the other side, the positive occurs. Our auspicious life opens up. And we live gradually. We learn to live, we experience gradually our real life. And it is auspicious. And the full opening of that lotus is prema bhakti, love for Krishna, life in the spiritual world with Krishna. There is a flavor, there is a taste of that. And by the mercy of the holy names, and especially when there's Sankirtan and chanting of the holy names, when we are absorbed in it, some flavor of the spiritual world, it rains down on us. It is said that Mahaprabhu caused the spiritual world to descend in the Sankirtan of the holy names. So one can get according to one's advancement, according to how much one's heart has been cleansed. One can catch that fragrance. I may have mentioned this before, but once, the devotees in Bangalore don't do this, but I think they don't. Do they go out? Do you go out in the street and have kirtan? You do that sometimes. So usually we go with 5 or 6 devotees or something like that, or 10.
Every Sunday we have the youth boys doing.
How many?
20.
One time in Melbourne, it was the 40th anniversary of the installation of C.C. Gauratai by Srila Prabhupada in Melbourne. And devotees from all over Australia came. And instead of having 5 or 10 or 20, there were about 120 devotees. And His Holiness Kadamba Kanna Maharaj was leading the kirtan. And they went downtown in Melbourne. And it completely, so many devotees chanting so enthusiastically, it took over the whole downtown, practically speaking. And everything stopped, and everyone just watched. And I remember there was something about it that caught everyone's attention. It was so powerful, with so many devotees chanting so enthusiastically, led by such a wonderful devotee. And then I was walking, and there was one group of young, not teenagers, but young ladies in their 20s or something. And one girl, young lady, she jumped into the kirtan. It's like she couldn't control herself. And she started dancing with the devotees. And her friends were thinking, oh no, what's going to happen to her? So they went, and then they pulled her out, and she said, I don't know. She was amazed. But there was such a taste that attracted her. Sometimes we forget. Court. Sometimes we forget, and we come into the temple room and we're not really there, even though our bodies are there. But Krishna, as we will hear in the second verse tomorrow, Krishna willing, He makes Himself available. He, that person, that unlimitedly beautiful person who lives in an unlimitedly attractive land, makes Himself available through the Sankirtan of the holy names. You can be with Him according to the level of your advancement. So that's the chanting of the holy names causes the blossoming of our real good fortune. When we think of what makes a person fortunate, we think of generally, who do you think is the most fortunate person? Unfortunately, I can't see Prahlad because of the computer screen. Who's the most fortunate person that you know? Just don't give a spiritual answer. Because everyone knows what the spiritual answers are. Who's the wealthiest person you can think of?
Elon Musk.
Okay, Elon Musk. Tesla. Spaceships. He also has an answer to the problem of traffic. Do you know what he does? He has a good sense of humor too, because he's proposing tunnels that go under the center of the city. They would make big holes under and he calls it the boring company, because they would bore holes, and it's boring. Anyway, he has a sense of humor at least. Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, close your eyes and think of the image. Shreya Karaiva Chandrika Vataranam distributes the moon, the holy names distribute the moonbeam of good fortune that causes the lotus of our good fortune, of who we are, our fortunateness. Everyone longs to be fortunate. And it causes that lotus to open, blossom, the moonbeams of the holy names. What a beautiful image Mahaprabhu has given us so we can understand his gift of emphasis of Sankirtan, the holy names, chanting. Now the next one, what number was this? Now this one is the one that's most difficult to understand. Vidyavadu Jivanam. Literally, English translation, Vidya means learning or knowledge. Vadu is bride. And Jivanam, the life. So it's the bride, the learning, the bride, the life of learning. The bride, it's a little difficult to understand what he's saying, but it's poetry. And the meaning, according to our acharyas, is that just as a wife, vadu, a bride, naturally follows her husband, so naturally, if you chant Krishna's names, learning or knowledge will follow that chanting. That is the meaning ascribed to this by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It's the life of knowledge, the actual life, because people have knowledge, and even there's a tendency for us who like philosophy and books and things like that, but there's such a tendency to think that knowing something is the same as living it and realizing it. But the holy names will give your knowledge life in its application. It will give you a life of transcendental knowledge, a life of devotion. Completely naturally. Just as a young bride will naturally follow her husband. This is, of course, 500 years ago when Mahaprabhu was saying this. But that's natural. Okay, close your eyes and think of this image of Vidyavadu Jivanam. Vidyavadu Jivanam. Vidya, learning, knowledge. Vadu, bride, wife. Jivanam, the life. It's living the life of transcendental knowledge. No hypocrisy. It's completely natural. The holy names will reveal who you are actually. And you'll live that life. Vidyavadu Jivanam. What picture, image comes to your mind? And this knowledge, just by chanting the holy names, this knowledge answers the question, so many questions. What is time? What is the actual material nature? What is material energy, prakriti, time? The jiva, what is the jiva? What is the soul? What is his nature? And then who is Krishna? Who is the Supreme Lord? And why do I act the way I do as if I'm a machine? programmed. What's the programming that causes me to look in a particular way, to think in a particular way, to act in a particular way? This is karma. So this is all knowledge, but even more than that knowledge, or deeper into that knowledge, the jiva, by the grace of the holy names, will understand his relationship with Krishna just by chanting Krishna's names. Not only, he will understand early that he's a servant of Krishna, but who he is eternally in relationship to Krishna, or who she is eternally. In Goloka Vrindavan, the holy names will give that. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his final song in Sharanagati, I'll just read, it's such a beautiful song. But maybe I'll read it a little later in the next one, in the next verse. Oh, one thing that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says about this Vidyavadu Jivanam, one of the most important things that one should learn is how to avoid namaparad and namabas in chanting. And this verse this sloka was spoken to inspire us to avoid namaparad, offending the holy names, because it's going to give us everything. If someone was going to make you a crorepati or a multi-crorepati, and he was going to just give it to you, just give you as much more than you can ever use in this life or 100 lives, or distribute to your family, you'd be very careful on how you deal with that person. Be very respectful, etc., and not offend him, that person. So these, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says that the purpose of these verses is to teach us to focus on getting proper chanting, so we actually get the results that we're longing for. We start chanting Krishna's holy name. Some of us are just born into the movement, and they can't remember any time when there wasn't chanting. Such fortunate souls. But there's a deep purpose in the chanting. And anything that we do every day, we tend to do it mechanically and forget that there's a reason why we're doing it. And I've heard Prabhupada say in a recording, not personally, but in a recording, that chanting mechanically is also offensive, in the sense that you're not dealing with the person, Krishna. So the purpose of this sloka, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, is to increase our desire to get the results from chanting Krishna's holy names, to be with Krishna, to get the results. The holy names can give everything, but do we want everything? Do we want to be with Krishna? Do we really actually believe that there is a Krishna Loka? And do we really want to not play around in the material world, but really want to be with Krishna in actually who we are, and escape the forest fire of material? Do we believe it's a forest fire, or do we believe it's a shopping mall? What's our real thought? We have to wonder about these things. Sometimes I ask devotees, what do you want in Krishna consciousness? Everyone raises their hand, Krishna Prem, joy. Then I say, okay, what do you really want? A new bicycle. That's what it amounts to. I want to play a little bit over here, and later, maybe. I want to play here, I want to taste this. But chanting, remove the misconceptions we have. So let us chant properly. So that's what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says. Avoid namabhas. And then the fifth one, Anandam Bhudi Vardhanam. Vardhanam means expanding. Go Vardhan. Expands the nourishment of the cows, the Brahmins, the land. Govardhan, but expanding, increasing. Anandam Bhudi Vardhanam. Ananda, bliss. Ambuddha, ocean. It expands the ocean of bliss. The soul, who I am, and this is so hard to accept that I don't know who I am actually. I know all the overlays, but it becomes more clear when you're old like I am and you look in the mirror and you think, who is that? Who's looking back at me? As long as the mirror isn't covered by dust. Who is that? I thought I was 20 years old or 30 years old or 40 years old or 50 years, but 80 years old with all the wrinkles and the this and the that and the this and the that. Who is that? Well, who am I? But we are actually Krishnas. And to live the life of Vidyavaro Jivana, of transcendental knowledge, means to be living with Krishna in ecstasy. And that will come up soon. But this is the point, that if we can just, and again, this is more for the older ones, but if someone who's younger can really catch it without it disturbing them, they're fortunate. But if one could just really want to love Krishna and make that the purpose of one's life. And that's the way we all really are working. Some devotees are very, very fortunate, and they just go like this, straight. I don't want anything else. I've already learned in previous lives. Like Sripad Shankaracharya took sannyas when he was like 6 years old or something like that. Great acharyas have done that. But most of us, and in this way, we offer great respect for the brahmacharis and those who are that serious and just don't want, like Jad Bharat, they just don't want to. I just don't want anything of this world. I'm detached. That this happened, that happened. Like the Avanti Brahmana in the 23rd chapter of the 11th canto. I don't care what happens. I just don't care. People spit on me. People take my food. People curse me. People lock me in cage. The focus was so intense inside on his relationship with Krishna. He just didn't care anymore. But we can't imitate. For some devotees, we offer all the respects, they're like that, but some of us, we have to go a little bit this way. But we're going in the right direction, and some of us maybe go a little bit more that way. I want to just find out what it's like to have a McLaren sports car or a Ferrari, and then everyone will look at me, especially when the door opens, when I get out, they'll say, who is that person who's in a Ferrari car or something? And it will be me. I want to find out what that's like, or to have so much money that everyone, when they see me, they'll smile. When someone wealthy walks in the room, we'll all smile, and we'll all be thinking, how could I get some of his money? We'll all smile, oh, please come, sit down. And then you end up, when you have that, it's so dissatisfying, because everyone wants something from you. No one cares about you, really. Welcome to the material world and the achievements. And then there's the people, whenever someone is really on top and very powerful, like the heads of countries, you can't imagine how many people, enemies he has secretly. I could tell you stories about communist China in the early days that'll make you sick. I won't, don't worry. But the hidden enemies. So what do we want? So some of us have to go even this way, and some of us have to go, want to taste in this and become this and have all this facility. But ultimately, I know what I really want. So all of these are okay. Some are a little more fortunate. If someone wants to go like this or like this, just means that they've learned from previous lives. Some people, just at a certain point of their life, they have an understanding and then go. And in old age, certainly, one can see that one looks back and sees on the material level that it was all just 1 0 after another 0, and I accomplished this, and I accomplished this, and I accomplished this. It's like being a software engineer that when you learned to program in 1970 or something like that, and just you're being surpassed by this one, and then the next generation, and the next generation, and C++. But somehow Java still seems to be around. It's so old, I don't know how.
C++ or something.
Huh? Still around. Is there a C++? PSP? Is that one? PSP? Is that something?
PHP.
PHP. You know that? Do you know PHP?
That's no more around, it seems.
Yeah, rest in peace. What's the newer one? What happens if you spent your whole life, you've become expert in PHP, and then suddenly it's no longer around? That's the anxieties of Bangalore, yes. And especially the older you get, the harder it is to learn. And the new ones, they come out of university and they know everything, and they're so fast, and you're tired. And
Now it's Python.
Python, yes. Do you know Python? Why do they call it Python? Because it will swallow you and crush you. Do you know Python? Does Python know you? When you create a new one, you could call it Anantashesha. Even more powerful than Python. And the next, so this one is something completely different. There's an ocean of, and we can get by chanting, and sometimes we can catch it, and sometimes we may not be able to, but by chanting, there's a fragrance. I think of it like a fragrance, but it's not a fragrance that you smell with your nose, but something comes down from a different realm that you can taste. If you go to a holy dham like Sivrindavan Dham, you walk into that, it's like a different universe where there's a different, like almost, it's subtle like a fragrance. You don't know what it is, but it's different, and there's a sweetness in the atmosphere. So the holy name gives us this. Imagine an ocean of that. Krishna can give that. He gives that to us in the form of the holy, that's ever expanding. And then, number 6. Oh yes, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Bhaktivinoda Thakur say that an ocean, practically speaking, is unlimited in size. But the jiva is anu. It is small. It is minute. But, so one can think, well, the ocean is so large, its bliss can be large, Krishna's bliss, but I am a tiny soul, so I can only experience a little bliss. So this verse, this point, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, despite us being small, by connecting with the large ocean of bliss, we can taste that ocean even though we are small. Despite our tiny size. Why? Because we're in touch with the unlimited through bhakti. That's the point, that we want to keep in touch with the unlimited, with Krishna. unlimited beauty, unlimited bliss. We want to be touched by him and being touched by him. But right now, our consciousness is covered, at least I can say for myself. And instead of wanting always to be in touch with Krishna, I have so many other things I want. And distracted, unlimited distractions. And how much I cultivate these unlimited distractions. And I make my to-do lists, and that never end. As soon as I cross off this one and that one, somehow it mystically grows. And the to-do list is to do, I think of it, when I finish these things, then I'll be able to do what I really want to do. But that really want to do time never comes. Distractions, continuous. Distracted from what? What's our Shreya? What is our... And then, here's the one word that wasn't part of another word, pratipadam. At every step, it could be that the anandam buddhi vardhanam, at every step that anandam buddhi increases, but our acharyas put it here, pratipadam purna amrita aswadanam. We can taste full nectar at every step. At the beginning, we can get a taste, like that girl who jumped in. She was dancing and chanting, and her friends went, don't let them catch you. But there's bliss. And if we like that taste, well, that's the purpose of spiritual life, is to increase our taste, increase our desire for that realm, and decrease our desire for this realm. Either like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, but don't go in this way. That's our basic preaching. But which one do you want? That would be interesting. If as you close your eyes this time, think of where you stand in this example. Are you like this? Are you like this? Are you like this? Are you like this? Or are you like... Close your eyes and just think of where you are, and then think of the image of an unending ocean of bliss. Ever-expanding ocean of bliss. At every step, but of course the ones who are swimming deeply in the ocean, they are tasting Purna Amrita continuously. And another question I sometimes ask devotees after that, after saying, what do you want? Then what do you really want? Sometimes I'll say, what do you want? And everyone says, Krishna Prem. And then I imagine Krishna responding, you want Krishna Prem? Oh, really? Let's see. Let's see what you want. Not in a nasty way, but he'll give us what we want. If we really want to serve him with great devotion. I heard Prabhupada say this in Mayapur in 1976. He says, if you want bricks and mortar, I think he was angry at one of his godbrothers. If you want bricks and mortar, Krishna will give you bricks and mortar. But if you want to serve, Krishna will give you service. And Prabhupada wanted to serve. So think of this image. Pratipadam, Purna Amrita Aswadanam, tasting full nectar. What picture comes into your mind if you close your eyes? Using real spiritual intelligence. not grok. But what picture comes to your mind? Think in terms of images, because that's what Mahaprabhu was speaking. He's speaking poetry. He's speaking images, not philosophy. The philosophy can be spoken about the images, but he's speaking incredible images, incredibly deep images, poetry, in his description of the holy names, to increase our taste. And the final one, because we may think, and someone actually asked me this question in Mangalore 2 days ago, that to want to be blissful in Krishna's service, is that selfishness? So this verse, our acharyas say, this part answers that question. No, it's completely natural. It's not selfish. It's dealing with who we are. Sarvatma snapanam. The whole self is completely cleansed of everything that isn't us. And who are we? We're naturally Krishna's eternal servants, blissfully. The whole self is bathed. So what picture comes to your mind with this one? And we know there's no selfishness because there are examples of, if the devotees choose, if there's a choice between being ecstatic or serving, they'll always take the service. No selfishness. They want to please Krishna. They're in love with Krishna. Prema parama arto mahan. Love for Krishna. It's completely natural. What image comes to your mind? And then the final line, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. The holy names, they will conquer over the material energy. Supreme victory for the soul. They conquer the soul's such difficult position, being trapped in the material existence. So Sri Krishna Sankirtan can cause complete victory over Maya, not Maya exactly, but yes, Maya, the prison house of material existence. What image do you see for that one? Now when describing, I'm sorry, what image do you see? Can you see an image? Or is it too hard for you? Okay, but you have to keep it inside. And I'll just read one comment of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, what he explains these verses in the final chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says, by performing congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, one can destroy the sinful condition of material existence. Completely destroyed. One can purify the unclean heart and awaken all varieties of devotional service. The result of chanting is that one awakens his love for Krishna. That's the result. One awakens one's love for Krishna, and in doing so, one tastes transcendental bliss. And then ultimately, Krishnadas Kaviraj says, one attains the association of Krishna by the power of the holy names and engages in devotional service, just like he is putting himself or bathing in a great ocean of love. That's how Krishnadas Kaviraj describes this verse. Beautiful description. Okay, now what I want you to do is close your eyes for real. Close your eyes, close your eyes. And what image, out of all the different images, what one or two images come to your mind as most powerful? And then, how many of you actually brought a physical notebook and a physical pen? Wow. How many of you still remember how to write and not type? It's pretty good. Okay, now take out your notebook, but I don't mean your tablet or your computer. Take out your physical notebook and begin writing about what comes to your mind from this class based on Shikshastakam of first verse. Just keep writing. Now, what I want you to do specifically is a particular type of writing. I don't know if we've ever done it here before, but called directed free writing. And what it means, Hare Krishna. You're okay? Good. You feel happy today? Good. What it means, directed free writing means you just keep writing for 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, depending upon how long we have. And don't stop. That's all you have to do. Directed on this particular verse. And even if you don't know what to write, just write, I don't know what to write, I don't know what to write. And you'll be so surprised at how intelligent your pen is. It will write things that will amaze you. You ready? Does everyone know what to do? Just write about what you heard. Anything that you remember. Anything that struck you, that sticks in your mind. And your own thoughts about it. So begin right now, and maybe 8 minutes, and I'll tell you to stop. Begin. The only rule is don't stop. But anything that inspired you, or anything you remember of what we heard and spoke about with Mahaprabhu's Shikshastakam. First verse. Just keep your pen moving, even if you think you don't know what to write. Just keep writing. As I said, don't think, you're thinking. No thinking allowed. Let your pen think for you. And as I said, you'll be amazed at how intelligent your pen is. Just keep writing. The only rule is to write, keep the pen moving. And it's all private. No one else has to see it or anything. Won't have to tell anyone everything you wrote. Just between you and Krishna and your pen. No thinking aloud. Let your pen do all your thinking for you. And then at the end, we still have some minutes, but at the end, just write up your own personal private prayer to the holy names. Again, think of what images struck you the most. You can describe them if you like. What images do you keep with you? And then at the end, see if you can write a prayer to the holy names, your own personal private prayer to the holy names. And to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who so kindly gave us this beautiful poetry. It's interesting what actually you're carrying with you. What struck you? Sometimes we take notes and never look at them again. But what images carry with you, stick with you? And just write. Just one more minute. Just keep writing. Okay, now just take what you wrote and just read it quickly and underline anything that really struck you in what you wrote. If there was anything that you found quite important for you personally, just underline that. especially underline your prayer. And now we'll take a little bit of maneuvering, but everyone face the altar. Turn towards the altar and take out your japa beads. And what I would like you to do now is put in your mind one of the images, the image that you found, or one of the images that you found from Mahaprabhu's prayer, and try to chant Krishna's holy names in japa in the mood of the prayer that you had, and in the mood of the image or images. You can begin now. We'll do this for some minutes. So begin whenever you want. You might want to fix your mind as best you can, and if your mind wanders, just bring it back to this images and prayers and the holy names in japa. Try to be as sincere as you can be. Try to chant this. And if your mind wanders, it's okay. Just bring it back to your sincere chanting as best you can. I think you did great. Because it wasn't easy, I know. You did great. I was so impressed. Hare Krishna. Try your best. Try your best. Try your best. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. If your mind wanders, it's okay. Just bring it back. Try your best to make this really sincere chanting. Try to keep your some image and prayer in your mind. Try your best. Did you have someone organized to chant? Because we're going to have a kirtan in a minute.
Girl, she was chanting.
Yeah, I was thinking also maybe Vikram Chaitanya's, maybe she can do it tomorrow or today. She's also really good.
I had told the center to organize. He would have communicated already.
To her. Okay, then we'll keep it that way. Tomorrow,
Tomorrow I can tell the preference.
yeah, okay,
Yes, please.
and I'll tell her. Okay. That's okay. कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं.
You want to show something more? Can I see?
One more minute. That's some words. Okay, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Now, Mataji, we're going to start kirtan. Everyone face the deities, the altar. No, turn it off. It's too loud. Okay, please start kirtan and try to chant Krishna's holy names in Sankirtan. Wait, I'm sorry. Just keep the image in mind and keep your prayer in mind and try to chant consciously, being present. And we could have harmonium and madanga, etc. And oh, that was you. Who was chanting before?
I was chanting.
Okay, chant now.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Now everyone chant.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Everyone.
Everyone chant. A little louder, please. Prayerfully, prayerfully. Everyone, everyone. Mataji. Prahlad, you play the drum. You play the drum. Haribo! Last time, everyone. One more time. One more. Everyone, everyone. Haribo! Everyone. Everyone again. Everyone again. Everyone again. One last time, everyone.
Okay, now everyone fold your hands by your heart and offer your prayer to your beloved deities, your deepest prayers, most sincerely. Try your best. Okay, now turn to 2 or 3 or 4 people very near you and just discuss whatever was meaning for you in this class. But you don't have to share everything. Some things may be too private or personal, but just start discussing with the devotees what you would like to keep with you, anything that you, what images, anything you like. Just discuss. 3, 4, 5, as much what's convenient. And let everyone get a chance to speak. But you don't have to, if it's something too private and personal, you don't have to discuss that. Another 2 minutes. Another 2 minutes. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Please, it's not that I don't like asking the devotees to stop their discussing amongst each other, but now, one thing is that this was the longest of the classes because the verses was the longest and most striking in a sense. Tomorrow and the next days will be much shorter. So it's interesting ideally when we have the group, we have classes and writing and group discussions and chanting like this, we usually have 45 minutes for the group discussion instead of 15. And the devotees really, they get the most, in one sense, out of the group discussion. And hearing each other's thoughts and realizations and sharing that is very meaningful for the devotees I've seen. Because the hard thing about we can't live without the association of devotees, but sometimes we can't live with the association of devotees either. We get into our own, I like this one, politics, this and that and that. But if we chant together and discuss about our realization, so much affection and respect comes for each other. So I find it's quite wonderful. And for me to watch the devotees just so lively chanting and discussing is very touching for me. So thank you very much. Now usually we have Achyuta Arjuna Shaka coming up but it's so late, I don't know what to do. Is it possible to just say it? No, I don't know what to do. You figure it out, but it's late. Or you can have this one.
No, mic is there. You should come up here.
But I think it has to be little short. I know how to make it really short. I wrote these books by the mercy of Prabhupada, and if anyone wants one, they can buy one and I'll sign it. Is there anything else?
Thank you. So, this year we have gone to Jagannath Puri. All of us. I'd like to inform Bhurijan Prabhuji. 640 of us have gone to Jagannath Puri.
Amazing.
And when we went to Alalnath, we saw the stone on which Lord Chaitanya had taken these pieces. And the Panda was explaining there that you can melt every metal, you can melt every steel, but there is no technology which tells you how to melt a stone. How many of you felt that today my stone-like heart.
He's so expert. Who could have done that?
Somehow something happens in Prabhuji's classes. We all experience some spiritual emotions, don't we? Just like a person in the hellish planetary system cannot believe that they will get any happiness. So at least for me, spiritual emotions is like, if it comes, I don't believe. And even if it comes, to get it on a sustainable way, it's like a dream in a dream in a dream. But somehow, when we come in touch with Prabhuji, and we hear him, and we associate with him, and we hold his books, we experience what are spiritual emotions. Especially today's class was so much imagery. In the world of WhatsApp and Grok and ChatGPT, who imagines these things? So today's, if somebody has to learn how to write poems, we should learn from Shikshasta, the way Mahaprabhu plays with these images. So how many of you would like to experience these spiritual emotions on a daily basis? At least for the next one.
You should also buy a book.
Yeah. And you can
Just like
sign
what
it.
he was saying, that sometimes when you go to, sometimes all you know is that I just have to catch my Japmala and sit down and chant. And then the nectarian, some Prabhuji was calling it as fragrance. Although we don't smell anything, but we feel it. It is inconceivable, it is indescribable. So sometimes when we chant, we get that. Prabhuji was telling, sometimes when you go to the holy land of Vrindavan, you get that. Imagine how life will be if we experience it every day, every moment, for the rest of eternity in unlimited. How many people would like to have that? Everything comes with it. And getting such kind of spiritual emotions requires blessings. How many of you feel without blessings it's possible? Prabhuji has been coming here for many years. It's like a.
If you want, you can keep it for tomorrow. Let's do the same thing tomorrow. You can suppose- yeah, if you want. It's easier, which do you want?
Just like Lord Vishnu told Vishnu, I sent the book. Similarly, it's like Srila Prabhupada saying, I'll send you. Take his association, become purified. So how many of you would like to have his blessings today?
These three.
Please come. Take a book. I know many of you already have. If you take a book, you'll spend some time with him. He'll talk to you. He'll touch your head. He'll sign on your book. And then whatever dakshina which comes out of it will be used in the service of Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi. Do you think that is a blessing?
Yes.
Do you think this blessing can save us at the time of death? To serve Srila Prabhupada in Samadhi by taking a book. Even if you have it, think of a
I'm so
person
glad he's not in the
who
corporate
you like
world.
to-
He would be such a super
Think
salesman.
of a person whom you'd like to gift it on the day of
He distributes books very nice.
Yeah.
coming 26 January, whenever you holiday. Give a book to someone, and along with that, gift Prabhuji's blessings to that person. Anybody who reads this letter, your life. So I'd like to invite everyone to come and take leave of our books. One new entry has come this year. Bhagavad Gita's study manual, which is earlier called Surrender Unto Me. It has come in Hindi. Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja. Srila Bhurijan Prabhuji was telling that. Imagine if you, what is Saraswati Thakur was quoting, that a person who has realized that there is no situation in this world which can actually make him happy. If somebody has realized this and is not endeavoring for that particular situation, that person has made sufficient great spiritual advancement. So this Bhagavad Gita gives you that realization. And there is no situation in this material world which can actually make you happy. All the efforts are futile. Everything is a waste of time. The only thing that you need to practice is Krishna consciousness. And then for that you need some clarity. And you need to be able to discuss it with others. Understand it for yourself.